Welcome. So this is the first in a monthly new feature called Chatty Cath. I've been teaching Pilates since 2001 when I did my very first Pilates course, and it was with Rachel Holmes. Then I went on to train with Terry Baker and Modern Pilates, and then did various other courses. So that was all mat based. It was all very new at the beginning. I was the first in the area to offer it. And in Longridge, we had Alston Hall, which was an adult education centre. And it was very, very, very successful. We ran evening classes for an hour and a half. Then we also did day classes, and they turned into a weekend at Alston Hall, which very, very fun memories. So if you remember any of those, you're as old as I am. I've been teaching exercise since the early 90s. Yes, with thongs and leotards and probably a headband. My hair was longer and it was in a top knot. Do you remember all of those? So I'm quite aged and experienced. My qualifications are quite numerous. Basically, whatever specialism I have for older adult pre- and postnatal Pilates, nutrition, machines, apparatus, I've got qualifications in them all, and obviously insurance. So that's me. You don't want to go on too much about me because it's all about you as well. My client ranges from early 20s to mid 80s, and we accommodate them all. So currently I have a fully equipped Pilates studio in Alston, and we have the reformers, the towers, the Cadillac, the pedi pull, the ladder barrel and the chair, and all the little bits and pieces that you have when you do a mat class as well. So that's okay. So the first question that we've had, or first series that we're going to do, is about SASSY. So SASSY is our studio apparatus class, SASSY, because it stands for Studio Apparatus, Strength, Stretch and You. Because it's your class, it's about you. It's what you want to get out of the class, and how do I help you get there using the machine. But it's very much directed to you, because if you come in with shoulder problems, hip problems, knee problems, easily adjusted. We teach the body in front of us. That's the usual phrase a lot of teachers use, because it's true. So with SASSY then, it's a group class on the apparatus, and it's more than the reformer. I'm getting a lot of inquiries who've done reformer classes, but they know, they're starting to realise that it's just a bit more than the reformer. Brilliant apparatus, really brilliant. So with SASSY, it's a rotational format. So it's a bit like gymnastics. You know, when they do a piece on the horse and then a piece on the bars and a piece on the floor, very similar to what we do in SASSY. So we have it timed. Now, why do we have it timed? Because the main reason we have it timed is if I said, do you said 2 lots of 10 repetitions, people forget to count. And that's the sole reason why we have it timed. So it's not that you have to do that exercise to the death for a minute and a half. We say that you've got 90 seconds to do the movement, not 90 seconds of the movement. So you can rest, readjust, get it changed, anything you like within that 90 seconds. Now, it sounds quick, but once you're into it, you'll think, oh, when's it ending? Are you sure you've got 90 seconds and not 90 minutes? Because some of the movements are quite difficult and they need a lot of effort. So once we've done round 1, and each individual apparatus has a running theme throughout the month. And we actually have something called Position of the Month, which sounds a bit cosmopolitan, but it's looking at different aspects of movement or a particular move. So in the past, we've had shoulder bridge. I picked a particular piece of equipment, which was the reformer, and we looked at shoulder bridge, because you think, if you know shoulder bridge, it's where you lie down flat, knees are bent, and you lift your hips up and down. With the reformer, there's just so many other variations. But again, you only move up those variations if your technique is good to move on. Because I can't move people on or get people doing moves where they haven't done the base moves, or if that move they're on isn't up to par. And I'm always thinking about safety on this. It's not whether you're elegant. Sometimes people just aren't elegant. I'm not very elegant. But as long as technically the move's right, then they can move on. And if not, we'll help them move on. It's not that, oh, well, you can't do it, stay there. We help you move on. So we find ways to help you move on. So it's done in a rotational fashion. Round 1, everyone can do that one, but even in that series, we can actually have modifications as well. So round 2 is a little bit different. Round 2 can be a little bit more advanced if people want, but they've always got the round 1 moves to go to. And if round 1 hasn't suited them, out the top of my head, I can come up with 5 different variations. So within a SASSY group, we do each individual piece twice. Then in the middle of that, we come in, it's always sandwiched in between. We come together and we're working on balance because it's just so important. It's not to say that other things aren't important, but balance is so important. So we come together, work on balance, work on our feet mobility, ankle mobility, toe mobility, knees and hips. So round 2 comes and then we cool down as well. So we warm up as a group, we do a little bit in the middle as a group, and then we cool down as a group. The other side of SASSY is that it's very social. I can chat about anything till the cows come home, as you know, and it's very, very, very social. We have people come, and in some ways, without sounding too dramatic, it's like their lifeline. It's just somewhere they can come. We're in the beautiful countryside. We've got a lovely studio. They come, and everything else in their world doesn't exist. And there's been many firm friendships formed in our groups. Few of the ladies particularly go on holidays together. They support each other through lives events, and everybody knows their name. In fact, I was just watching Cheers this morning. Do you remember Cheers? And it's a place where everyone knows your name, and it's exactly the same in class. If you don't know it when you come in, you'll remember it when you go out. And we are so chatty, and it's quite therapeutic in a social chatty way. So that's SASSY. So that's the actual class. Now, with regards to booking, so again, I like to be different, not just for different sake, but because people's lives change so much. I'm what I consider in a sandwich generation. I've got older parents and I've got daughter and granddaughter. And sometimes your time's divided. And if you find that actually I like 6 o'clock on a Monday, just book 6 o'clock on a Monday and that's fine. You can have that slot, just book it. But if you think, oh, actually, Cath, I don't know, I've got to care for this, I've got to do this, then look at your timetable and say, well, I can't come Mondays, but I could come Wednesday or Thursday. All we ask is book your class. That's it. That's the easiest way of doing it. You're not tied to a certain day, certain time, and you don't have any time frame to use your classes with. We're not a venue where you say, well, you've paid for 4, you've got to take the 4 in the month. What if you're on holiday? What if something happens? What if you're ill? So we try and make that as flexible as possible, but all we ask is that you book. Please book. And then what else can I say about SASSY? Oh, well, part of SASSY as well is the social side. And then that leads me on to our social events. So it's sort of an extension, and we go out for meals. We've been to Angels, which has been amazing. We've been to Hamadan. We go out to, it's not all food, mainly food though. We've been to John Ditchfield's, the glass blowing experience at Windy Harbour. We've been to Salisbury Hall Christmas fair. We've done quite a few things. So it's not just a class. If you want to get involved with the social, that's great, and just meet new people. So that's SASSY. I'm going to talk about one-to-ones because I've had a message from a lady called Margaret. She's not sure about doing Pilates, and she's seen the website and she's seen all this equipment, and she says it looks scary, and it really isn't. So the equipment is there to help you. Okay, I mean, if you looked at a car, you'd think that would be quite scary, but once you've sorted it out, you can, if you drive, you know what a car is all about, and you can drive. And exactly the same for the one-to-ones. So what happens in a one-to-one? Well, first of all, if you've got a really good idea that you want one-to-ones, we invite you down to the studio so you can try it out before you buy. So again, we don't say, oh, we'll buy 6 sessions and we'll do an assessment and then we'll do the rest. We want to make sure that, first of all, we're right for you and that we can help you. That's always been our mantra. There's times when I have referred people on and they've been to see a physio or somebody else. I've even had where I had to stop teaching somebody because he really didn't look well. Turned out he had a heart condition that he wasn't sure about, but he did not look well. And I said, we have to stop. And I'm almost demanding that you go to urgent care. Turns out, yes, he had a heart problem, didn't know about it. So, you know, I never shy away from referring. I know my limits with it, despite all the training that I've had. I know my limits, and we work to those limits. So the one-to-ones, then you come in, we have an assessment, chat, you're right for us, we like you, you like us. It's like an interview. Think of it as an interview. You're going to be spending some hard-earned cash with me, and I want to know that you're happy, A, with the setup, B, with me, and C, what we can offer. So I just don't take people's money. I need to know that we can help. So typically, you get that session free. We call it a discovery session. And then we'll start either a 6-week course or a 10-week course. And depending on what your goals are and how long you're with us, the format's more or less the same. It does slightly differ. So on the 10-week course, we do quite an in-depth assessment of your posture. We use a posture app as well that will help. If you're doing 6 weeks, then we'll do a visual posture. It's just the time it takes, and I just need to get as much in with 6 weeks. With 10 weeks, we've just got a little bit more time to do these things. So from there, we look at your goals, we look at what you want to achieve, and then we formulate a plan. Now, within formulating a plan, we have, not that I see things in visions like Doris Stokes, I often see things as things in my head, and it's what people want and what people need. Now, the need bit is sort of like my input, and then the want bit is the client's input. And what do I mean by that? Well, you might come with sore shoulders, so we'll sort your shoulders out, but within that, we'll also really look at your posture, because if you've got sore shoulders, it could be that you're on the phone too much, you're reading too much, you're sewing, whatever it is, we look at that. Also look at your lifestyle as well. We can, on the 10-week, do a body composition and blood pressure and waist measurements, if that's something that you're interested in. And then we look at your program for either 6 or 10 weeks. Do they have to be weekly? Ideally, yes, but we have holidays. I have holidays. You have holidays. Things might crop up, but we want them as close together because of the benefit of doing them close together. And it also means as well that you're less likely to not do your homework. So I like to give homework each session. It's tiny, honestly. It's the tiniest homework you could ever imagine. Then what happens after the 6 or 10 weeks? Well, you can stay a one-to-one client. And again, same process. We'll look and see where you were, see where you are, see where you want to go. Or if you've come for 6 weeks and you want to join SASSY, rewind this and then you'll know all about SASSY. There you go. So I'm just going to check if we've any new questions, because we're all on different platforms. Let's have a see. I'm quite warm. Who's not warm? I'm quite warm. Let's have a see. Okay. Oh, so I've had a message on Messenger. Okay, so this is from Diane, and it's about the nutrition. She must be listening somewhere, because she's mentioned about the nutrition. And did you get that from the fact that we weigh and measure and things? Right. Okay. So if you did, then that's fine, because yes, we can do that. So I've recently qualified as a nutritional advisor for health and fitness. Not qualified to talk about supplements, because again, that's a really big area and a big question mark on whether we should be having them in a regular diet. But what we can help with is weight loss, if that's what you want, and weight management. So we're going to be bringing out something called the HERA Coaching program. Now, who's HERA? HERA is one of the Greek goddesses. She was a wife and sister to Zeus, which is very random. And she's sort of like a goddess of women, goddess of power, goddess of sort of good living, really, and being woman, being female. So I'm going to call it the HERA Coaching, HERA, and that will be in there as well. So from there, we can do more or less the same. Oh, here we are. Yeah, thank you. HERA, HERA, if you didn't get that. So I've just had a message where we're going to be looking more holistically at what we can offer you. So that's going to include the Pilates, if you want, or more fitness based, and the coaching as well. So the diet industry does drive me insane. Okay, it is really simple, but then it can get really complicated. Why is it simple? Because if you eat a certain amount, you see my hands, and then you work out and your energy expenditure is a certain amount, if you eat more than you're working out or using your energy, you're going to put weight on, and we need to tip the scales like that. It's how you do it. Now, everyone and his dog, especially on social media, TikTok, I can't even remember all of them, Instagram, they're all there with what's worked for them. And there's a lot of science in what's worked for them, and that's good. But what I want to offer is, what I think I get frustrated with is that, say, Anne-Marie, let's use Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie came size 22, really bad eating habits, wasn't sleeping, bad digestion, headaches, all those sorts of things, possibly type 2 diabetic, or at least pre-diabetic. And then within 6-12 weeks, she is that thin and everything's back to normal. Now, I'm not sure how realistic those are, and I'm not knocking them at all, because they're not all like that. I know I've just given it a huge extreme, but what I want to do is look at changing your habits for life. So it's not a diet, it's not a 6 weeks this, it's not a 12-week that. It's going to be an ongoing process where we just check in, we say, look, what do you want this month? Do you need much help this month or not? Do you want the full program this month or not? Do you want to sign up for a set program, and then we'll reevaluate it and let's see where it takes us? And I'm thinking that you don't need me to say, well, oh, let's have a think. I've got choices. Do I eat a packet of crisp or do I have an apple? I think we've moved on from there. We know what to eat. There's different things in our head, different things in our lifestyles that's stopping us doing that. And that's what I want to address, because otherwise I'd just be like anybody else selling a diet program that you do these 6 steps and you'll be thin as a rake and thin as my Sharpie pen. And I'm really convinced people don't want that. They just want to be healthy. If you're postmenopausal or going through the menopause, then you may have had problems there as well, with extra tummy fat going on. And with the best will in the world, do we have the time, do we have the inclination to go on the very, very stringent, very strict regimes that will make you into my Sharpie? Some people will, and good luck to you. I have no beef whatsoever with those programs, none in the least. I want to work with people who are overweight, stressed, don't sleep very well, maybe have a long-term condition, maybe. I've got exercise referral as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. I always forget one of them. So we can work with a lot of people, and I just want to give them hope that their life is not as it is now. It can be changed, and you can be healthier, not stick thin, not muscle bound, but healthier inside. And you wake up with a spring in your step, and you want to go out on a day like this rather than thinking, oh, my legs won't last very long. So that's the HERA Coaching. Now I'm going to have one more question because we're nearly there. Let's just check in everywhere. People coming through on Messenger. Maybe you don't want people to see the messages. Let's have a look. Yeah, I got another one on Messenger. Oh, don't be shy. Don't be shy. No. Rachel, don't be shy. Okay, so Rachel's just typing away there. Just give me a second and I shall relay what she's saying. Oh, I've got a nice peaceful house today. My husband's out cycling. My brother's downstairs and he's with Hector. So it's just really nice and quiet. Just hear the birds outside. Okay, Rachel, your question. Okay, so Rachel is a runner. She's been running for quite a few years now. She's gone from 5, the park run 5K. I know who this lady is. Park run 5K into 10Ks, and now she's doing half marathons. I think she planned to do one every month, which is a fantastic achievement. I won't bore you with the story, but I've actually run myself back in the day. I've actually done London Marathon twice. Yeah, I know. Don't laugh. I got my medal. I can get them out and show you. But Rachel's asking about her knee. She's having some knee problems. Well, first of all, Rachel, obviously I can't diagnose anything. That's not my role. I would definitely suggest going and getting it checked out with a physio, preferably someone who can do sports. And maybe first of all, look at your running. Okay, so it could be lots of different things. So your knee pain, it can either be at the front of your knee. I haven't got me an anatomical, but if you can imagine here, so that's the inside of my knee, outside of my knee, and then my kneecap slides up and down. It could be that it's some muscles that are not working, but one of the best things I can suggest is just gently massage around the area, and you might find some tender points. You can massage there and see if that can loosen them off. But we've got work on the reformer that we can do for knee rehab, and that might help as well. So I know I'm not answering your question, but I think the easiest thing would be to, first of all, get a diagnosis. We can certainly work that knee within the range of your pain and ability. That's no problem, and get the muscles around it stronger. But a diagnosis would be helpful. And then we can see about how you're running or how your foot's placed. It could even be a shoe issue as well. So yeah, that's it. Last one. Why are you sending me questions now when it's nearly time? Last one. Can Pilates be done seated? Absolutely, yes, it can. It definitely. It can be absolutely done seated. I started yesterday back at Bushel's house in Goosner, lovely place, and we just went through a little bit of history of Mr. Pilates, but also a really easy exercise. So I'm going to show you that now. Let's leave on a high and give you something to do to improve your posture. So I'm sat on a office chair. It's quite a good chair. I've got arms that can move up and down. I don't have them because I don't like the arms on them. But if you sit nice and tall, and you know your bony bits of your bottom, the ischial tuberosities, sit nice and tall, just take your back away from what you sat on. A dining chair would be good, or a stool. Doesn't work as well on a comfy chair or a settee, but a dining chair or an office chair. Sit nice and tall and just gently pull your tummy in. That's it. I know it's my best thing ever, and I'm telling you. That's my whole program. Just pull your tummy in. It's not, obviously. So sit nice and tall and pull your tummy in. Drop your shoulders down. Instantly, you sit on those ischial tuberosities. Your tummy pulls in to support the spine. So if you went back to a slump position, then everything falls forward. You lose the contraction and the tummy squeeze, and your pelvis just tips under and your back slightly arches. So back into sitting, you can grow nice and tall. So you can see my shoulders. Well, the top's more or less level with my little stand. And then I drop. And then I can lift. So it helps with breathing, digestion, elimination. And because it helps breathing, it helps you get to sleep better as well. So there you go. I am going to wrap up there. So if you're on Zoom, I'm going to end it there now. I'm going to end meeting for all. So thank you very much. And if you're live via YouTube on either Facebook or my website, thank you very much. I haven't got a date for the next one, but we will plan it. It will be out again. So keep your questions coming in. And I'm going to gather some more as well, because I know sometimes people are a bit shy. And I'm going to gather more questions in beforehand. And then we can sort of like do almost like a suggestion box type thing, but with a question, and we'll write them down and we'll pick them out of a fishbowl and then we'll answer them. So please don't be shy. Message me with your questions and I will see you next time. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.